What's up, guys? It's your boy Jags Nation, and today I just kind of wanted to, kind of talk about the hiring of Doug Marrone as the head coach. Um, a lot of fans didn't really like this hiring, but me personally, I kind of liked it just because when you look at the candidacies, uh, kind of some of the requirements I wanted out of this new head coach was, I wanted somebody who's been a head coach before, who's maybe turned around a team before, and someone that's like going to bring some discipline to this team. And kind of the three people that I had in mind from the beginning were Tom Coughlin. I wanted Tom Coughlin to be our coach from the beginning, but Tom Coughlin, Mike Smith, and I thought toward the end of the year, when Doug Marrone initially took over at the interim spot, I didn't really think he'd have a chance. I didn't really kind of consider him, but after I kind of saw some of the things that he did while he was, the head coach, the interim head coach for 2 weeks, like, I kind of like some of the things that I did see out of him. Just, because you hear about, in the locker room how, or not in the locker room, but in like team meetings, if these guys were coming in like a minute or two late, then they're not allowed to come into the meetings. And, he kind of put off like you know, he kind of just enforced some stricter rules like no sweatshirts and kind of stuff like that. But, he was kind of laying the law down a little bit. And I thought that was good just because, we just have, the way the veterans were speaking out about how they kind of thought like the, rookies were running the show. And, it kind of comes back to Gus Bradley's culture of where, you know, if you kind of succeed a lot more if you're self-motivated just because, he's talking about doing your job and like as long as you do everything right, then, wins are just going to come. But that works, that works a lot better for veterans like that are a lot more self-motivated and just a lot more mature because you saw players like, you know, this year Puz Leslie had one of his best years. The last couple of years, Roy Miller was playing lights out, and he even had, despite Mercedes Lewis's injuries, like he was even playing at a really good level. So, you know, you have those, you have those guys, playing really well, but you had these players like Dante Fowler, Ramsey. They're all always committing these stupid penalties, these personal fouls. It's these young guys that, you see it on the field. Like I remember the Raiders game. Literally, you had like Malik Jackson and Jalen Ramsey get, you know, ejected in the same game, and then you just had so much. You could just see it was just such an undisciplined team. And I also wasn't really a big fan of, these young guys like Kyle Shanahan and what's it called McDaniels. Like if I were to take one of the two, I'd probably take Kyle Shanahan just because he's actually shown that he can turn around multiple offenses at like multiple different teams and you know. But the thing about it, I really did not like McDaniels just because literally this guy, he goes to the Broncos and everyone knows that he was like didn't do well there mainly because he drafted Tebow, but he didn't really do well there and only lasted like 2 years. But the thing is, like, after that, he went over to the St. Louis Rams, and literally, when he was offensive coordinator there, they went like 2-14. And then he goes back to the Patriots, and all of a sudden, he hides under Bill Belichick for a few years, and all of a sudden, he's this, you know, all of a sudden, he's a great coach again. It's like, you know, even even Charlie Weiss was a good offensive coordinator over there. I mean, like no one's if you have Bill Belichick and Tom Brady, then you're gonna be good to go. I mean, I'm not gonna get fooled by McDaniel's being a good coach, but I mean he can prove me wrong. But yeah, and I just thought those guys were too young for this, the situation that we're in, and we just need, I like Doug Marrone because he went to, he was a great offensive coordinator at the New Orleans, and then he went over to Syracuse and turned around that team in 4 years. Literally, they were terrible, and all of a sudden, he brought them back to bowl eligibility and whatnot. And then, he goes over to the Bills, and literally the Bills were pretty much in the Jaguar situation that they're in right now. They're huge playoff drought. The Bills are in a bigger playoff drought than we were, but they literally he took in his second season over there with the Bills, he took them to a 9-7 record. 9-7 in the AFC East is going to get you into the playoffs, but 9-7 in the AFC South, you know, that's a lot. That's a whole lot better. And let's not forget that Doug Marrone was also a big, name going out there in a coaching rumor kind of search. I mean, you heard rumors of him. I think he actually went out and interviewed with St. Louis Rams, but they wound up hiring like a 31-year-old dude. I mean, good luck with that. And then what's called, they set a pretty big. They interviewed a bunch of people. I mean, there was even rumors that they went and interviewed Tony Dungy, but it all came down to it. Uh, the thing that gives me the biggest, you know, assurance that this is a good hire is just because not only did Tom Coughlin, who I'll talk about in a later video, but not only did Tom Coughlin endorse him, but also Bill Belichick endorsed hiring Doug Marrone as the head coach. And I can't think of any two better football heads than that to really recommend to guys. So, that definitely gives me, reason to hope for this. And, I really just thought, when it all came down to it, it was really just between Mike Smith and Doug Marrone. I could have gone either way. I mean, a lot of Jaguar fans would have rather just a new guy come in there and change everything up and, you know, do all that with it. But, it's not. It's. I mean, it looks like when it all comes down to it, I mean, it's looking like the way the Jaguar organization feels is that it was pretty much all Gus's fault. But, you know, we'll see. We'll see as it goes along because I think this team's got a lot of talent, and you know, I'm just really, all you can do is be optimistic that, hopefully we'll start getting a winning team together here soon. But I appreciate you watching the video. This is my first video that I made, and I hope to, start making some more. I'll be making more videos about my thoughts about the offensive coordinator hire of Nathaniel Hackett, the defensive coordinator hire of Todd Wash, and then, about Tom Coughlin. Then probably later on start, talking about the position groups that I think we need to, my kind of grades on them, what I think we need to do with those. But, this is Jags Empire, and I appreciate you guys watching.